White people are obsessed with black people.
You probably wonder, why do white people pay so much attention to black people?
White women just admit we're jealous of black women's hair.
White women and men do not have creative motivation. So when they see black people have creative motivation, they become obsessed with the ideas that they see. They aren't able to breed creativity, so they become obsessed with the creative expression that they choose not to have. In simple terms, it's laziness. They are so mad and obsessed that they're now getting laws created to limit black creative expression. All of this hate when they could just admit that they're obsessed.
A lot of white folks secretly love black people. Like, obsessed, right? You see this with like the fetishization of black men. You see this with how much white people love hip-hop, how much white people copy black culture. The list goes on. But yeah, I think a lot of white people are just afraid to admit that because they think that's suggesting something that is wrong with them. For example, like, if you love black people, then you're like betraying white people, or you're saying that white people are bad, or you're racist or whatever. But there's so much more in black culture than hip hop and good food. I mean, those are great things, but there's a lot, there's a lot of good things about black people, obviously, and let me put you on. Number one, they know a lot more than us. They're usually smarter than us when it comes to racism, when it comes to sociology, behavioral psychology, all that stuff, because in order to survive, a lot of black people just have to like be super cognizant of behavior and whatnot. The other thing about black culture is it's all about community and kindness and mentorship.
You've all waited for it, and now here it is. Obsessions, a series. Let's kick it off right away. Here is one way the welfare Olympians are obsessed with black Americans. White women are too obsessed with everyone's hair but their own. They are obsessed with different braid styles, sew-ins, and even claiming a recent stake of ownership in lace front wigs. They have so much to say but can't back it up because of their ego. And because they are so in their ego, they are too afraid to admit that they're obsessed with any and every style that black women do. They use obsessive and demeaning and unnecessary comments like, "Is it real?" or "Is it all yours?" Insane entitlement, thinking that you can just touch a black woman's hair, being super confused when they say no. They even laugh about it when they are told no, because they are that obsessed and think that they are that entitled to touch a black woman's hair. They literally think it's a God-given right. They demand to touch it. They will search to the very ends of their Mary Poppins bag to find a comment to say, "I promise you." White women and men do not have creative motivation. So when they see black people have creative motivation, they become obsessed with the ideas that they see. They aren't able to breed creativity, so they become obsessed with the creative expression that they choose not to have. In simple terms, it's laziness. They are so mad and obsessed that they're now getting laws created to limit black creative expression. All of this hate when they could just admit that they're obsessed.
So I live in the South, and over the last month, I've been keeping record of the things that have been said in front of me. So the first one was a guy that I'd hired to detail my car, come to my house and detail my car. He'd come a few times, and on the last time, he finished and came in to tell me that he wanted me to come look at it to make sure nothing was fucked up. So I said, "Surely nothing's fucked up." And he said, "Well, I don't want it to be fucked up like an N-word checkbook." So I looked at him in a state of horror, and he said, "What? Oh, like a black guy's checkbook?" And I said, "Just stop. Not interested in looking at anything with you now." And he said, then he started to go on some kind of rant about how he can say that because his great-grandfather was part Indian, his words. Asked him to leave, and of course never had him back. The second thing was I was at a lighting store looking at a fixture for my house, and I was talking to the lady who owned it with her husband, and both of them were out there, and I was asking questions about a chandelier, and her husband chimed in and said, "Oh, are you looking for chandelier?" And she started to laugh, and I looked confused, and she said, "Oh, honey, we've got a store in the hood, and those people, they come in and they call them chandeliers." And then they began to laugh, and then I walked out. The next was a guy that I was thinking about going on a date with called me one evening, and I answered the phone. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, "Ironing my shirt for work tomorrow." And I said, "Ooh, putting in extra starch?" Just saying something silly. And he goes, "Hell no, I ain't no N-word." So then I hung up again in horror. And the last, I was thinking about buying a lot to build a house, and I ran into a guy that lived around the corner, and I was telling him about it. And he said, "Well, whatever you do, if you don't decide to ever sell it, just don't sell it to no Indians." All within the last month. And these are the same people, I can assure you, that will say and declare and claim that racism, it doesn't exist.
Guys, I was thinking that I'm only Asian girl who likes African men. But I'm not. But I'm not alone. There is 2 more Asian girls. Yeah, you see there. No. Yeah, they love African men.
Now it's time to talk about the men that can't seem to take their hands off of children. And out of respect for all of the victims like myself, that's all I'll say about that. If you know, you know. As we discussed with black women's hair, black men's hair too bears a very odd obsession. I'm sure you've noticed at all of the various college campuses and high schools that the sudden straight hair kids now are obsessed with curly hair and a fade. A clear indicator of replicating what they see, which is simply theft. Privileged women have a tendency to hold space for such hatred within their gifts, and privileged men will unapologetically steal from a black man, no problem. Which actually brings me to the obsession of black man's masculinity. Privileged men are obsessed with black men's masculinity. They obsess over the ability of the black man to shine in any circumstance. Even at the hands of the abusers, the police. Privileged men would more than likely cross-dress before they could ever fully exude the levels of godlike masculinity that black men naturally have. Privileged people hide their obsessions behind hatred, when they could just admit they're obsessed with black people.
Japanese men love their black women. Forget everything you've heard. I know they have all these Japanese beauty standards, but trust me when I say they love their black women. If you're single, get an Asian Cupid. Do whatever it is that you have to do. These men are faithful. They're very family oriented, big into fitness, and they're going to treat you right. So, for all my single sis, if you have a trip planned to Japan, even better for you. But just know, you heard it here first. They love their black women. So, go find you an Asian guy, specifically a Japanese Asian guy. Okay? Just know you heard it here first.
I'm going to tell you why the Slavic women, they like the black or the really dark men. To be specific, by the way, Polish women, like Eastern Europe, they fucking love black men. And if you ask them, they'll tell you they're more masculine. They smell amazing of coconut oil. They tend to like really look after themselves. And by the way, when I go to get a manicure and a pedicure, there's always black men in there getting their nails done. They actually look after themselves, but at the same time, they're really masculine. Yeah, Dutch women go crazy for them. When you're talking about Russia, they'll sort of accept anyone if they're dark. Like, they go crazy for Mexicans. That's why Mexicans leave. They find a Russian snow bunny, they bring them back to Mexico, and then they go to LA and the story of love starts. But yeah, Slavic girls, they've just got this obsession, you know? Another thing, you probably know this, but like, the darker men have more outstanding milk. And that's probably another way they're just slightly persuaded over to the dark.
From fashion to slang, sports to culture, One question keeps coming up. Are white people obsessed with black people? Let's keep it real. Look around. Black music dominates the chart. Black fashion sets global trends. Black slang, mainstream talk now. Black hair, black dance, black style, copied, then sold back to the world. When you borrow someone's culture without giving credit, that is not just appreciation, that is obsession. But it does not start with TikTok. In slavery times, black bodies were controlled but also fetished. During Jim Crow, black creativity was stolen while black people were segregated. Black athletes, artists, and thinkers were often celebrated but still denied basic human rights. It is a weird love-hate relationship. We love your culture, but not your struggle. Fast forward to today, black hairstyles banned at jobs but copied on runways. Black vernacular mocked until it is trendy. Black athletes celebrated but racially profiled up the field. Black creativity is the blueprint, but too often black people are erased from their own story. Let's be fair, not every admiration is toxic. There are white allies who respect black culture and fight alongside for justice. True appreciation looks like giving credit, amplifying black voices, and standing against injustice. The line between admiration and obsession is respect. If we do not talk about it, we cannot fix it. Black culture is powerful, but black life must matter just as much. True admiration means lifting up the people, not just copying the style. Obsession without respect is expectation, plain and simple. Blackness is not a costume, it is a lived experience, one that deserves dignity, not just downloads. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comment box below. Until next time, cheers and have a good one.